Yeah. In other words, people need to have a sense of purpose
Exactly.
in order to achieve their goals.
Exactly.
So how someone can create a sense of purpose?
Okay, before I get into the sense of purpose, it's a process. There's a 4 series step that I have in order for someone to find the hero within themselves. First, you need to overcome fears. Yes, we all do have fears, but in order for us to face them, we have to overcome them. And the second step is purpose. We need a sense of purpose. The next step is planning. Plan ahead. Have goals. And finally, faith.
Yeah.
And I like to start off with all 4 steps specifically.
Yeah. Could you start with the first step,
Ex-
which is overcoming fear?
Exactly.
So first of all, could you tell us what is the definition of fear?
The definition of fear is the mindset of something holding us, the mindset of something that hesitate us to move forward or to execute. Like one problem that we have, fear leads to many situations. Fear of rejection, fear of failure. And the thing is this, when we have fear can lead to laziness. How does fear lead to laziness? Well, it starts off with, someone fear of starting something and failing. Sometimes we may postpone something, most simplest things. We may postpone a work or hesitate it, just the simple fact that we fear that we don't know how to start, or we fear that our goal might not go well. And another fear is perfectionism. We fear that, if we have a project that we want to do, we want it to be perfect, but we forget the fact that in order for it to be perfect, we have to start it. Okay. So we have these various fears. But I can tell you one thing about fear. Fear, hell, is a difficult, it hinders us. I don't know if you were a child, going to the park, there was monkey bars. You see, the monkey bars, in order for you to go to hop on one bar to the other, you have to let go of the other one, and that's holding you back. And with fear, it's an ongoing process that you have to overcome. And keep in mind, I said overcome. I didn't say avoid. Because if we're avoiding fear, that is something we call denial.
Because fear is our makeup.
Exactly. Exactly.
So everything that we want to accomplish in life is related to fear.
Exactly.
Somehow. Yeah.
Oh yes. Fear of what people will say, fear of rejection, fear of failure.
Yeah.
But we have to find ourselves, we have to find inside, we need to know what is our fears. How can we overcome these fears? So by having an awareness, it's very important. Now that leads to purpose.
Okay.
Now, with purpose, when you have a sense of purpose, you have a sense of your purpose on this earth. You have a sense of your goals, your aspiration. But how do you know your purpose? Yes, it's true, you have to look in your mirror and know who you are, but it takes time. One tactic, a strategy that I find very handy is using a journal. In this journal, it allows you to write down it writes down your life. Like first step is, what are your goals? Actually, before your goals, first thing is, who are you? What do you love? What is your passion? What is the thing that makes you smile? What is the thing that makes you happy? What is it that whenever you think about it, that you do, it uplifts you? And when you have a sense of purpose, you will feel motivated in what you're doing. And believe it or not, we all have a sense of purpose. We all do. We have a purpose on this earth. Classic example, there's this man named Johnny Burns. This guy, he's from Bermuda. He was a former bus driver. Whenever there would be traffic in Bermuda, he would just stand in the middle of the road and start dancing and say, "Good morning," out loud. You know, there would be commuters, travelers, tourists that would come and see this guy. And you're like, what is this guy doing in the middle of the road, just waving a flag, saying good morning like that and just dancing? It's like, what is the purpose of this guy? Later down the road, he put a smile on everyone's face. People who had just had a rough day, just rough morning, just commuting to work, just seeing just that one person smiling. He inspired them. He brought just simple things like that. He made them happy and just brought joy to their day. It was so uplifting that, you know, there were politicians in the community decided to create a statue for him. Create a statue for this man, you know, a sculpture that's in the middle of that's in the middle of Bermuda. Tourists sees it and they take pictures of it and they consider him as the friendliest man in Bermuda. Where I'm going is this, with purpose. This guy right here, John Burns, he doesn't have a PhD. He's not a wealthy millionaire. He's not on the cover of magazines, or he's not a famous public official. But the fact that he was happy, and he knew that his happiness inspired everyone. And so where I'm going with this is that we all have a purpose on this earth. And when you find the hero within you, you will know that you do have a purpose, whether it's your talent, whether it's smiling, raising a child, or just being yourself. You do have a purpose in this life.
Okay, what about people who are easily influenced by others? They call it peer pressure.
Right.
So how do you explain this situation?
As far as people with peer pressure, who are being peer pressured by other people, it's just a simple fact that what defines me? This person or me? This person is pressuring you. This person is influencing you and pressuring you. But is that person inspiring you? With peer pressure, you're allowing someone to give you your own identity when you don't have yours. You know, I don't mean to get into comic books, but it's like these superheroes. One of the reasons why these superheroes are like that because they have a sense of purpose. It's not that society told them to, and that's one thing we need to teach our children is that they can't, in order for them to do well, they can't wait for people to tell them what to do. They have to find a sense of purpose to know and motivate themselves to get their education, to find what they want in life. And that's the importance of purpose.
So I don't know if you are religious or not. So so what about people who get converted to Christianity and a few years later they decided to give up on it?
Because they didn't see the sense of purpose. Keep in mind, remember, with sense of purpose, it's not something that happens overnight. Now, these people, you have to ask yourself, why did they do it? Were they doing it just to please a particular person? Or they did it just for the moment? And there may be various reasons why they leave, but at the same time, the question is, did they have the sense of purpose to be converted, or just a short-term thing because they felt like it was something that would make them happy? Now, keep in mind, with the sense of purpose, you know your identity, you know who you are. But not having a sense of purpose, you'll always look for instant gratifications. Instant gratifications, and one thing that's hurting us in our society is that many people are looking for things outside. You know, and that's why, you know, spending money on things that will make them happy without even know who they are. What are their talents? You know, and as far as for your question, as far as the person converting and leaving, just the beginning, the person didn't see that they had to question what is their purpose in life? What do they want? and what is their faith, which we will get into later, which is a different topic.
So, how do you feel about influencing other people? Do you feel comfortable doing that?
That's a very good question. My goal is to inspire people. But the question is this, how comfortable am I influencing people? Well, the question you ask is, how comfortable am I with the person? You see, you can't influence someone because you can't influence, the person has to, it's something that the person has within. But one thing that you can help is getting to know someone, getting to know the person. And how do you get to know someone is asking questions, asking them what do they like, what is their strengths, what are they good at, and get to know the person very well. And if you're a salesperson, you know, before you sell anything, you need to know what does the person need. We all have needs and we all have concerns, but in order for you to find out, you have to ask questions. I mean, I don't have to go any further, audience. It's just like dating. When you're dating someone, you don't know anything about the person, you ask questions. The person, just because the person is a girl doesn't necessarily mean that she likes flowers. Just a person is a boy, is a male doesn't necessarily means that he likes sports. So to answer your question, to influence someone, you need to ask the person questions, get to know the person deeply. And once you get to know the person a little more, you know your audience, you know how to approach the person. And that's how you can influence the person.